Hello and welcome to the Capital Games Movie Club. I am The Wiz. Today we are discussing A Christmas Story directed by Bob Clark, the 1983 film, the 1983 Christmas classic. I believe it's starring Peter Billingsley as the main character. But before we get into that, let me discuss what led me to decide to watch this movie. And it's basically this and National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation that a lot of people my age, when I was younger and when I was discovering film, would say that these are the best Christmas movies. Now, of course, they wouldn't say something like It's a Wonderful Life is a great Christmas movie because that was in black and white. And who'd want to watch black and white movies? Ugh. Yeah, it was this and Christmas Vacation that they would say are great Christmas movies, funny Christmas movies, and just all-around enjoyable movies that they'll watch every year during Christmas. And again, when Christmas was around, is usually when the big movies of the year would pop up for Oscar contention. So I really wouldn't watch Christmas movies so much. I would watch those movies. But now, since I made a concerted effort to watch Christmas movies, I thought this might be a great Christmas movie to finally get out of my backlog. And I did that, and we will talk about it. Why not right now? We're going to discuss A Christmas Story, the 1983 comedy family movie, starring Peter Billingsley, directed by Bob Clark. I have got to say, immediately when I started the movie, I was questioning why so many people enjoyed this movie so much. Was watching A Christmas Story, and the first thing that bugged me 20 minutes in was the narrator. When it comes to narration, I always believe less is more, unless the narrator is doing something wholly different with the story itself. Like if it's an unreliable narrator, or if the narrator does something different with the storytelling. A Christmas Story does something with the narrator that I think is a cardinal sin, essentially. And it's basically, it tells the story. It does not let the movie tell the story. Like, I can't tell you how many times throughout the entire film where the narrator tells you a plot point where it could have very easily been done through the movie. And it was just an annoying thing. And I get to a certain extent what the movie was trying to do. It was trying to wrap this nostalgic bubble throughout the entire movie through its narration. It just didn't work, because things would happen in the movie where the narrator would essentially either spoil it or would essentially just say what happened, and you're looking at it going, why don't you just let the movie do it itself? It usually is the sign of, in my opinion, bad writing. Because the thing that a lot of... I used to want to write screenplays way back when. And a lot of the books and the classes I would go to when it comes to screenplay writing is basically saying, if you're going to have a narrator, first off, don't. But secondly, if you're going to have a narrator, don't have it tell the story. And A Christmas Story does that throughout the entirety of the film. And it's fairly annoying, to be completely honest. It's a nice narrator. The voice of the narrator is fine. But I just sat there going, well, why not just let me watch the movie so I can see what happens throughout the film itself. It doesn't, and the narrator kind of, I think, ruins the film to a certain extent. But it would only ruin the film if I think the film was good in the first place. And I gotta tell you, I don't think this film is very good. Would it be harsh to say No, Surviving Christmas is probably the worst. But this is close. I get that the movie's trying to be subversive. It was trying to wrap this nostalgic present around a pretty cynical type of movie about Christmas. And I just came out with it just being really annoyed throughout the entire film. First off, the main character of the film, Ralphie, is so damn unlikable. Like, I could not stand this kid. And since he is the main character of the film, it's not like the film has you want to laugh at the kid and make you feel as if, this kid's detestable, you shouldn't like him, he's this, he's that. No. The film wants you to sympathize with him and wants you to like him, because the way that the film, because obviously the narrator is Ralphie in the future, but what they try and do is they try to make him likable through the narrator, but the kid, through his actions and what he does, is thoroughly unlikable. He beats on his brother, he convinces the kid to get his tongue stuck up on a pole, he's selfish, he is thoroughly unlikable in this movie. I just don't get why so many people like this movie, and especially like this character. It's like, oh, but it's realistic to what kids are like. Yeah, you know what? That might be true, but I don't want to be near that kid. Like, I don't want to be near that kid then. Because if that's what real kids are like, and yeah, okay, to a certain extent, some kids are like that. Okay? But there's also good stuff in them as well. I did not see that in Ralphie, like, at all. I found Ralphie to be not only annoying, but detestable. I could not stand this character while watching the film. And the fact that the film makes you think that you should sympathize and root for this character to get the present that he wants is just like, oh, God. It's like making a movie where the main character is a spoiled brat and just someone who, if you were to meet them if you were to see them with a parent at a Walmart or something, and this would be the kind of kid who goes, "Mom, get me this," and he won't stop. No one likes this type of kid, and I don't understand. First of all, I don't understand why the film thought he would be ultimately sympathetic, and two, I don't get why people find this character likable at all. This is a deeply cynical take on Christmas, I think, that is wrapped in this weird nostalgic bubble, like, oh, wow, don't you remember the good old times when I convinced a kid to put his tongue on a cold pole? What? Like, you want me to rap nostalgic about you being a dick? No. Like, oh, God. So there's that issue as well. Again, like, the main character itself is utterly detestable. I do not like this character. And then the actor who plays him, Peter Billingsley, I guess is fine, but just the writing involved with this character and these characters, like, let me put it this way, okay? When Ralphie was getting beaten up by the bullies, I was like, good. Good. I'm glad. Because I was just like, oh, God, I can't stand this character. To me, that is not what you want an audience member to think when you're supposed to sympathize with a character or to identify with a character. Is that, oh, I'm glad he's getting bullied. I'm glad he's getting beaten up. Like, the movie is strange because it tries this melding of cynicism of Christmas with nostalgia surrounding Christmas. And there could be good writers who can do that, but this doesn't work. It just turns into like an odd, cold take on Christmas, while still trying to make you believe that it likes Christmas. You gotta go for something here in this one. You can't criticize Christmas for what it is, which the film in some senses is trying to do, while also saying, but yeah, isn't Christmas great? No, not really. That's not gonna work. that doesn't work at all. So yeah, this film makes a bunch of odd decisions that in the end does not work at all in this. And I don't think this would work outside of Christmas either. Like, I'm starting to learn, and I said I was gonna do this, and I'm gonna do it with It's a Wonderful Life. I really wonder if a lot of people, if they watch these movies outside of the Christmas season, if it would be as beloved as some of these movies are. Like, I think this is a great example. I would love to get people who said they love this movie to watch it in, like, June. or let's say April, like away from Christmas, and then say, okay, what do you think of the film? Because I really think, especially with this film, that the trappings around Christmas helps people excuse the flaws of this film. If this was a film about any other holiday, I don't think any other holiday has the attachment that Christmas has with other people. Maybe about one with Halloween. Okay, let's say it's a cynical story about Halloween, but somehow they try and wrap nostalgia around it too. I would like to see if that would work. Because I think a good writer who is smart can do that, but I don't think this film does it very well at all. I think in the end, it writes its characters pretty poorly in this, especially Ralphie. I mean, yes, you can make a spoiled brat or somebody who is not 100% likable someone to root for. It is more than possible. But then you have to write things around it to make the character likable. And it doesn't really work in this situation. And then you have the parents in this movie. The father and the mother are fine. The father is the stereotypical type of, I'm working, whatever. It's a stereotypical father from that time period. I think this movie is set in the 40s. The mother is okay, but the things that happen throughout the movie, like the leg lamp, like, what was the point of the leg lamp? Like, okay, he won the leg lamp, so you're going to insert the sexually suggestive leg lamp where now your son Ralph, the utterly detestable Ralphie, is rubbing its leg in a provocative manner. Good Lord, what the hell? Oh man, as you can tell right now, I had many problems with this film, and I'm willing to hear people out as to what they think of this film and why they love it so much, but man, do I not like this film at all. I watched this Thursday night. I'm recording this on a Friday. I know I'm a little late, but I'll get to why at another time. But man, I did not find this film very funny. I also thought the stated goal of the film, which is to be somewhat cynical but also weirdly nostalgic, just did not work. It was not executed well at all. I think this is a bad movie. I think this is probably one of the most overrated movies I've ever watched, amongst many, but this is definitely, I think, one of the most overrated Christmas movies. Okay, this is bad. Okay, so my final thoughts on A Christmas Story. I gotta tell you, after 20, 30 years of hearing people saying how much of a great Christmas movie this is, it's so funny, it's this, it's that, like, I really want to talk to these people and ask exactly what they see in this movie. This movie is, to me, this movie is awful. It tries to mix nostalgia with cynicism, and it does so in a slapdash way where it doesn't try to mix it very well, and the result is a mess of a film where it asks you to sympathize with a very unsympathetic character, and it also has this weird effect. It wants to have this weird effect where it's criticizing Christmas, but also stating how great Christmas is, but it doesn't do it very I'll say this, it doesn't do it effectively at all. There is no good effect to it. Did I laugh a couple of times in the film? Yeah, but it's more at the expense of the character itself when it's not supposed to. I think I was more laughing at the film, more than laughing with it. I am giving A Christmas Story a 1 star out of 5. I think this is probably, it's not the worst Christmas movie I've ever seen, but it's close. 1 star for A Christmas Story. I guess I'm glad I saw it. I really have to start questioning the people I talk to when it comes to these types of movies, because, man, I did not enjoy my time with this film at all. I think this was a bad movie. Okay, so why don't we get into some topics here? The one topic that came about, that comes about every year, honestly, when it comes to films and to Christmas movies. And the age-old question is Die Hard a Christmas movie? And I gotta tell you, I hate this question. I can't stand this question. And the reason why is because of the framing around it. It is so silly. And I think it was about like 5 or 10 years, maybe longer, but I heard about maybe 5 or 10 years ago, where people were saying, oh, my favorite Christmas movie is Die Hard. I'm like, that's not a Christmas movie. What are you talking about? And their rationale was, it's set in Christmas, therefore, Christmas movie. I think I want to just state what I think a Christmas movie is, or what constitutes an actual Christmas movie. My definition of a Christmas movie is one of two things. It has to hit two criteria. At some point, the movie has to be set in Christmas. It doesn't have to be set throughout. The entire movie does not have to be set through Christmas, but I think a good amount of the movie has to be set during the Christmas season. The movie that I just watched a couple of weeks ago, It's a Wonderful Life. It's only the final third of the movie is set in Christmas. But that's considered a Christmas movie, and I agree, because in that one aspect, it is set in Christmas. The other thing that it needs to deal with the themes and the minutiae of Christmas. And what are those things? Giving is one thing. Being kind to your fellow man is another thing as well. Family, friends. And of course, that limits to what you can make a Christmas movie on to a certain extent. But those are important things that you have to put on when it comes to Christmas. Well, an example I would put is Bad Santa. Some people will debate whether that's a Christmas movie. I think it is. Because even though it's not a happy type of Christmas movie, definitely not, but it does deal with the themes of Christmas and when it comes to giving and being kind to your fellow man and things like that. Like, it has to deal with those themes as well. Now, do movies that mock Christmas or that talk about the ridiculousness of Christmas or criticize Christmas, can those be Christmas movies? Sure. Those can be Christmas movies too. It doesn't have to be a happy type of thing that glorifies Christmas to be a Christmas movie. I mean, that's perfectly fine as well. But just because a movie is set in Christmas does not make it a Christmas movie. Die Hard does not deal with any of those themes whatsoever. And I don't care how you want to dress up your interpretations when it comes to, well, actually, the symbolism of him bleeding on the floor from all the glass that he had on his foot is a direct symbolization. I don't give a shit. Like, I'm going to say that right now. I don't care. Like, if it doesn't deal with those themes directly, and it's not a Christmas movie. That also means the movie I reviewed last week, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, is also not a Christmas movie. And that's fine. I am fine with it. And the reason why I think that way is because Kiss Kiss Bang Bang does not deal with any themes of Christmas. It's a murder mystery movie, and at no point does it talk about anything Christmassy at all. It doesn't do it. Does this limit the type of Christmas movies there are? Yes, of course it does. But on the other hand, that's the whole point of a theme. You're not supposed to crowbar certain things into a theme when it doesn't fit. It's part of a theme. That's like me saying Blade Runner is a historical movie because it deals with the history of certain things that technology has done in the past. Could I be right that it does? Sure. Does it make it a history movie? No. It's a sci-fi movie. It doesn't fit. And me crowbarring my interpretation does not make it that type of movie. So yeah, so I guess the answer is, do I think Die Hard is a Christmas movie? Fuck no. It's not a Christmas movie. And I really am getting tired of the dialogue about, but it's set in Christmas, therefore... Look, okay, if it means that if a movie is set in Christmas at any time, then ergo it's a Christmas movie. Then Iron Man 3 is a Christmas movie. Do any of you think that? I doubt it. I sincerely doubt it. Love Actually. Do you guys really think Love Actually is a Christmas movie? I don't. It's a romance movie. Yeah, is there... Well, I guess certain aspects could... no, I'm sticking with it. That's not a Christmas movie. Is Edward Scissorhands a Christmas movie? I don't think so. Gremlins? No. I don't... Like, there are so many movies that... Like, here's a good list here. Like, Lethal Weapon. Lethal Weapon, is that a Christmas movie? No. But it's set in Christmas. Trading Places. No. Batman Returns. No. Rambo First Blood. No. But Ghostbusters 2. No. They're not Christmas movies. And if you start, and by just saying, oh, but it's set in Christmas, so ergo it's a Christmas, then there's no point in having Christmas movies then. Absolutely silly that people will take, oh, but if it's set in Christmas, then it is a Christmas. No, I don't think so. Stretching a theme out just because of a setting or of a place and time it's set in is fairly silly. So, no, I do not think that Die Hard is a Christmas movie. I'll get on with much longer if I keep continuing, but my answer, if Die Hard is a Christmas movie, no, it's not. And stop, people. I know Die Hard's a great movie. I'm not debating that. Die Hard's a great movie. But it's not a Christmas movie. Just stop. just stop with this. All right, so we are at the end of this episode of the Capital Games Movie Club. But before I go, I'm going to answer a final question. So, the whole thing going on with James Gunn running the DCEU, the new DCEU, which I doubt is what's going to be called, has stirred a lot of controversy in Twitter. And the one thing I keep seeing, and obviously it's from Zack Snyder fan accounts and big fans of the comics and stuff, is that people really liked Henry Cavill as Superman, and they're upset that he's not returning. Which, to an extent, I do understand that. I thought Henry Cavill was pretty good at Superman. I thought that if he was given a really good script, he could have made a fantastic Superman movie. Problem was, he was never given that. And even though I did enjoy Man of Steel, even I can say that it's not that hot. Like, it's fine. It's just not... like, it's a fine movie. But, like, Batman v Superman, not good. Justice League, horrible. And no matter what you guys say, I refuse to believe that the movie that was 2 hours long that was released in theaters that was so bad that if you gave me 2 extra hours, it would be much better. Yeah, I don't know about that. Maybe one day I'll go into it and watch it, but I'm not going to put my time into that. But anyway, yeah, so a lot of people are upset that Henry Cavill will not be Superman. There are rumors that Gal Gadot will probably not return as Wonder Woman, especially after what's happened with Patty Jenkins. This has led a lot of these fan accounts, and, some others too, to say, wouldn't it be so easy? It's so easy to do this. Just listen to the fans, and you have a great movie. And I guess the question I have is it important for filmmakers with these properties to listen to the fans? And I guess the answer I have is it would be nice, but no, it really isn't. In fact, sometimes you have to go against the fans' wishes to make a great movie. Let's do an example here. Michael Keaton as Batman in 1988. How many fans around that time, and this is going all over Twitter too, how many fans were upset that they chose Michael Keaton as Batman, or Tim Burton chose Michael Keaton as Batman? There were a lot of people who were upset that they couldn't see Mr. Mom being Batman. But as soon as they did the trailer and they saw it, they're like, oh, I get it now. But if Burton decided to listen to the fans, would we have that classic Batman? No, we wouldn't have it. So he didn't listen to the fans. That was completely fine. Let's look at another example. I mean, I think this movie is now overrated, even though I do like the movie very much. But The Dark Knight. How many people were pissed they casted Heath Ledger as the Joker? A lot. a lot of people were pissed. They're like, how could he be the Joker? That makes no sense. Jack Nicholson's the Joker. Mark Hamill is... I like Mark Hamill as the Joker, by the way. Mark Hamill as the Joker. What could Heath Ledger possibly do to make the Joker... to do the Joker? He's too pretty for the role. What happened? He is probably one of the most beloved villains in all of film history with his interpretation as the Joker. Again, I think that's a highly overrated statement, but people loved it. My thing generally is this, okay? Make a good movie first. Then, if you can, listen to the fans. That's my feeling of it, essentially, is... make a good movie first, and then if you can make the fans happy, great. But if you can't, but you still are making a good movie, okay, so a few people are pissed off. You're still going to have a good movie. Look at the X-Men, okay? Another thing that I think people were pissed off about. Dougray Scott was the frontrunner to be Wolverine at the time, and people were genuinely excited. And then they chose Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman was a unknown actor from Australia at the time. No one knew who he was, and fans started picking him apart. I was like, wait a minute, like Wolverine is like 5'1". He's a midget. He can't. Like Hugh Jackman is 6'1". He's too strong. He's too handsome. He's He nailed it. He absolutely nailed the role. Another thing with X-Men, they're not in their classic costumes. They're just in black leather spandex. That's lame. Why can't Wolverine be in his yellow and black? Because it would look absolutely silly. It's like, and did it turn out well? Yes, it turned out fine. That's the other thing too. Like, and I'll be dead honest too. Okay, sometimes listening to the fans is the right move. What they did with Deadpool in X-Men Origins Wolverine was absolutely silly and stupid, and the way they made that character was dumb. And when Ryan Reynolds turned it around and made the Deadpool movie and did it what he thought was right, he did listen to the fans, and that was the right move then. Okay? So it's not like listening to the fans is the wrong move every single time. That's not true. The problem with fans is that they tend to not see this as a creative medium. Okay? And what gets people to enjoy these movies is creativity. Yes, it would be nice to see Kingdom Come, the Kingdom Come series that happened on DC, to be done one for one. Would it be neat? Sure. Would it make a good movie? I don't know. I don't think it would. So you would have to adapt it in some form in order to make it good for a movie. And that's the thing that I think a lot of people fail to realize, is that when you adapt something into another medium, let's say a game into a movie into a game, a comic book into a movie, a comic book into a TV series, you do have to make changes. Now, it would be nice, it would be cool if they would do callbacks, or they would do something in the original medium that would find itself in the movie. Yeah, that would be cool. Is it necessary? No, not really. It really isn't. And a lot of these filmmakers do take what's in the comic books and use it as a blueprint as to what they are going to do in the movie. They do end up doing that. So it's not like they're not listening to the fans at all, or they're not paying attention to the source material. They are. But with that as well, they do have to make a good movie. This is going to cause a lot of people to go, what? But the Watchmen movie, I did not like the Watchmen movie. And this is coming from somebody who was a big fan of the comics. I love the comic books. I love the graphic novel of Watchmen. It is fantastic. But they forgot to adapt the damn novel into a movie. And all Zack Snyder did was say, okay, I'll just copy paste. And that movie right there, to me, is the reason why you should not do that. You should try and adapt it and fit it into a cohesive narrative that is good. That may also mean that you don't make a Watchmen movie, which, to me, probably would have been a good idea. Maybe Watchmen would have been better as a TV series. But I thought when I saw the movie, I was like, okay, I've read this. Like, yeah, it's cool, but Okay, whatever. I just sat there going, okay, the most you can do in that situation is either match the expectations of the person that has read the comics or disappoint them. You can't exceed that expectation. You just can't. So you have to, as a filmmaker, add certain things or subtract certain things in order to create a cohesive narrative in a movie. I mean, I think a good example of this is Gone Girl. Now, I haven't read the novel, so I can't cite examples from the novel. But the person who wrote the book is also the person who wrote the screenplay. And she even understood that principle, that I can't just copy paste my book into a movie. I have to do different things in order to make it work as a film. And she got that. And as a result, the movie was very good. It was very well done. And this also counts for like movies that go from one language to another. An example is Funny Games. Funny Games was an Austrian movie from Michael Haneke. And he then 10 years later did an Americanized version. And he made slight tweaks and differences between the two. But he even knew you can't just copy and paste. You have to work around the edges. You have to cut certain things. You may have to add certain context. That happens between mediums as well. I would like for these fans to get exactly what they want and to be happy, but you have to also understand, you can't just copy and paste and say, oh, if you just do what we want, we'll see the movie. That's not true. Because if we do what you want and the movie is shit, you're not going to watch the movie. You're going to sit there and go, God, why does this movie fucking suck? Like, you said it's what you wanted, and we did exactly that. What are you going to do? Especially with fans of a medium, a property from a different medium. I think it's probably the most frustrating to listen to. Because all they'll say is, all you got to do is just follow the comic book, and you got a good story right there, man. I'm like, yeah, you have a good framework of a story. It doesn't exactly mean it's going to work for the movie. You might have to change certain things. My favorite game, okay? My favorite game story, aside from Gone Home, which I don't think would work as a movie either, or a TV show. My favorite game story is Dragon Age Origins. If they were to turn around and say, we're going to make a TV series out of Dragon Age Origins, I would be scared to fucking death. I would be like, oh no, what are they going to do? Like, what are they going to do? Because Dragon Age Origins is such it's not complex, but there's a lot going on in the periphery that you would have to have somebody who is so in love with the lore and so in love with the characters for that to work. And as such, they would have to make tough decisions. For example, what if they said, okay, we're going to do it, but we're going to have to cut Liliana? Liliana is my favorite character in all of Dragon Age Origins. Like, that would piss me off. I'm like, that sucks. Why would you get rid of Liliana? Or what if they said, what I think everyone's a fan of is Morgan. What if they said, yeah, but we'd have to write out Morgan because XYZ. Then what? What are you going to do? I mean, those are the things that you have to do in order to make a competent retelling of a story from a different medium. Sometimes you have to do those things. And let me circle back to Henry Cavill. I think the main reason why Henry Cavill is not returning as Superman is basically Gunn and I forget who the other person is, but James Gunn is probably looking at this and going, we need to distance ourselves from the DCEU. And let's be fair, the DCEU has been hit and miss. They haven't had all hits. In fact, I will comfortably say it's been mostly misses. They've not been that great. So he needs to distance himself greatly from the DCEU. Does that also mean maybe that Peacemaker is no longer around? Possibly. I mean, I think that's the main reason why he's probably going to distance himself from Cavill, and that he may not work with Gal Gadot. I say Gadot all the time, but it's Gadot. Which I think is the bigger travesty, because I think Gal Gadot is perfect as Wonder Woman, as Diana. But if that generally means that he's going to have a different vision for the DC universe going forward, it's what you got to do. You can't have you can't have a different take on something with the same exact actors. I mean, you could, but most audiences won't buy it. Like, if you had Henry Cavill as Superman, but he's more quippy, and he's more sarcastic, and he's more comedic, which might be the tone that Gunn is going for, it's not going to work. And audiences could be like, wait a minute, why is he different here than he is here? That's strange. Why are they doing this? And they're not going to know that, oh, new director, new person that is running the whole DC universe. They're not going to know that. So it's best to start over, I think. And yes, it means that Henry Cavill will not be Superman, and it probably means Gal Gadot's not going to be Wonder Woman, and that sucks. To me, that's probably the best move that he can make in this. So, should you listen to fans? Again, it would be nice, but it's not entirely necessary. If you make a good movie, they'll watch it. It is essentially what it is. Like, you can have people who are going to be like, oh, I'm pissed. I'm not going to watch this movie. I'm going to boycott. Like, yeah, boycotts are so effective. I'm going to boycott this movie. Once they hear, yo, this movie slaps. This is a great movie. You should watch it. They're going to watch the damn movie. They're going to watch it. If it's good, it doesn't matter how pissed they were beforehand. They're going to watch the damn movie. So, yeah. Is it important? No. Would it be nice if they listened to fans? Sure. But it's not important. Okay, so we are at the end of the episode of the Capital Games Movie Club, and we're going to talk about the movie we're going to have next week. Next week is going to be a weird week. We're technically still in the holidays, but it's no longer Christmas. So what do we do here? Well, we're going to watch a movie that is set in New Year's Eve, and it's a movie I've been dying to watch, and I'm so glad that I'm going to get to watch it. So we are going to watch The Apartment, starring Jack Lemmon and Shirley MacLaine, directed by Billy Wilder. I have been wanting to watch this movie for a long time, and I'm finally going to make the excuse to watch it now. So tune in next week where I watch the movie The Apartment, the 1960s romance comedy starring Jack Lemmon and Shirley MacLaine, directed by Billy Wilder. Hey, everybody, have a good holiday. Have a Merry Christmas. I hope everything goes well in your life and in your holiday. And hopefully you get to watch some good movies and do the things you want to relax for the holidays. So until that, next week, we are out of here. Talk to you next week. Merry Christmas, everybody.